blocks and look into the enticing distance while our chests heave with tension and impotence. We are 11 yards away from each other. I lean out of the window while longing for that faraway freedom. Friedel can't even do that. Her imprisonment is more complete. I can still move freely through the lager. Friedel can't even do that. I live in Block 9, an ordinary hospital block. Friedel lives in Block 10. There are sick people there too, but not like in my block. Where I am, there are people who have fallen ill from cruelty, starvation, and overwork. Those are natural causes that lead to natural diseases that can be diagnosed. Block 10 is the experimental block. The women who live there have been violated by sadists who call themselves professors. Violated in a way that a woman has never been violated before. Violated in the most beautiful thing they possess, their womanhood, their ability to become mothers. A girl who is forced to submit to an uncontrolled brute's savage lust suffers too. But the deed she endures springs from life itself, from life's urges. In Block 10, the motive is not an eruption of desire. It is a political delusion, a financial interest. All this we know as we look out over this plain in the south of Poland and long to run through the fields and marshes that separate us from the hazy blue Beskid Mountains on the horizon. But that is not all we know. We also know that for us, there is only one end, only one way to be free from this barbed wire hell: death. We know that death can come to us here in different forms. He can come as an honorable foe that a doctor can fight. Even if this death has base allies, hunger, cold, fleas, and lice, it remains a natural death that can be classified according to an official cause. But he won't come to us like that. He will come to us just as he came to those millions who have preceded us here. When he comes, he will almost certainly be stealthy and invisible, almost odorless even. We know that only subterfuge hides death from our view. We know that this death is uniformed because the gas tap is operated by a man in uniform, SS. That is why we yearn so, looking out at those hazy blue mountains, which are just 22 miles away, but for us, eternally unattainable. That is why I lean so far out of the window toward Block 10, where she is standing. That is why her hands grip the wire mesh on her window so tightly. That is why she rests her head on the wood, because her longing for me must remain unquenched, along with our yearning for those tall, hazy blue mountains. The young grass, the swollen brown chestnut buds, and the radiant sun that was growing more glorious with every passing day seemed to promise new life, but the earth was covered with the chill of death. It was spring 1943. The Germans were deep in Russia, and the fortunes of war had yet to turn. In the West, the Allies still hadn't set foot on the continent. The terror raging over Europe was taking fiercer and fiercer forms. The Jews were the conquerors' playthings. It was a game of cat and mouse. Night after night, motorbikes roared through the streets of Amsterdam. Jackboots stamped and orders snarled along the once so peaceful canals. Then later, in Westerbork, the mouse was often released for a moment. People were allowed to move freely around the camp. Packages arrived, and families stayed together. Everyone wrote an obedient, "I am fine" letter to Amsterdam, so that others in turn would also surrender peacefully to the Grüne Polizei. In Westerbork, the Jews were given the illusion that everything might not turn out too badly, that although they were now excluded from society, they would one day return from their isolation.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.